I would just love to hear, like maybe go through the services you offer and then the ones that we're really aiming to grow. So we have a great understanding of what the different things Crystal Clean provides. And then the particular ones that we see a lot of need with. And Jeff, you and I have talked a lot about this day labor idea and post-construction. This part of it, as Dave shared earlier,
Yes.
Southwest Florida has grown just a little bit since the 90s. You saw, and the part that I want to make sure of, you saw a lot of abundance then.
Yeah.
And it was a micro part of what it is today. And it's just abundance everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to go through the services, then we'll kind of break down the top three that were.
You know, you'd mentioned post-constructions, and we are seeing more of it and pursuing more of it. We want to grow that side of the business. We're, frankly, getting really good at it. We have specific teams in place, and a part of our warehouse is dedicated to having all the right tools in place just for post-construction cleaning. So as Southwest Florida is expanding, you go down around the airport and up and down, you know, from Fort Myers, Estero, Bonita to Naples. The growth, the apartments, the commercial side of it, warehouses we've cleaned, apartment complexes is another thing that it's so large in scale. Again, it's the scary side of things. You go, that's a lot, and it is, but we're ready for it. We've geared up for it. So we put ourselves in that market fully, but we'll never get away from our common area cleaning. I mean, the associations and the condos, they always need people to come and go on a daily basis. Large office work has come into that as well. So for office cleaning on the commercial side, where they need to have day porters and they need to have evening staff that's very consistent and making sure that systematically we keep the facility clean. So many stories of places we've walked into that it's been another growth part of the company because they've tried the mom and pops, they've tried the national facility managers, and they find that if we have a miss and hopefully we correct it on the front end, cleaner's going to be off. Well, we have cleaners to replace them. We have a system to make sure that it gets hit. If we get a call, we make sure we send someone out to take care of it. And so we've been doing really well in that arena, the large office cleaning. And then you have all those ancillary services that come with it. So when they ask about floor cleaning, and we can do all the floor cleaning they need, the power washing that they need, take on the buildings, the roofs, soft wash any given area. So in Southwest Florida, because of the salt, the sand, the humidity, there's just surface buildup everywhere on everything. Yeah. And they want a company who can do it all. And we want to be that company. In fact, we need to make sure we can provide all those services. So we've put together a system that if they ask, can you help us with this? We absolutely can. I mean, it's true. Yes is the answer. So we pick up a lot of extra services as well.
Love that. Dave, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, in regards to construction cleaning, I had an aha moment about a year after Hurricane Ian. I really hadn't been down to Fort Myers Beach much. A couple of our clients there, one in particular right next to the pier, we cleaned for 27 years, 7 nights a week, completely washed away. It's gone, not even there. The slab itself is broken up. But anyway, I went down there about a year afterwards and took a drive through Fort Myers Beach and saw how little was rebuilt already. And even today, there's so much rebuilding that hasn't been done, you know, due to money issues, insurance, what have you. But as I'm driving through, I had this aha moment, and I'm like, who's going to do all this construction cleaning? You know, we're one of the larger construction cleaning companies here, and we can't handle a fraction of this. There's just so much. And then it dawned on me that most of the contractors there working on the beach are from out of state. They're here temporarily, building. And I came back and we had a meeting, said we need to really gear up for construction cleaning because 6, 12, 18 months from now, this was in 23, early 23, I guess, this is going to take off. There's more work than anybody can handle. So we need to gear up the staff, the know-how, the expertise in it. And we did. And like Jeff's saying, now it's become a huge part of the business. But in addition to that, I was watching a YouTube video last night on growth in different areas of the U.S. And there's 2 states in the U.S. that are growing even faster than China. And everybody hears how China's just booming for many, many years. And those 2 states are Texas and Florida that are growing far faster. And the reason is people are moving here as fast as they can because of the weather, the economy, there's no state tax, et cetera. So in addition to the rebuilding here in Lee County from the hurricane and people moving here so fast, like Jeff said, the apartment buildings are just popping up like weeds. And in the past, we would have said, oh, that's too big a project for us to go clean, 200 apartments. How would we do it? Well, we're doing it. We found out how to do it, figured it out. So that growth is incredible in this area. And like I say, I saw it 30-some years ago. And I always said, as long as the sun keeps shining, people are going to keep moving here because they're tired. Even if they're only here 6 months, doesn't matter. They still have to build places to live and restaurants to serve them, et cetera. Yeah. And the problem we used to have was labor. Couldn't find enough labor, for example, to work on Sanibel, because obviously the workers can't afford to live there. Or in certain areas of Naples, they can't afford to live there. But we've solved the labor problem, how to get good people and how to retain them. So, we use that expression, the sky's the limit. Yeah. And our goal isn't to become as big as we possibly can. We want to grow, but we have had times in the past where we grew too fast. I remember one year, I want to say like 2007, somewhere in there, we grew 50% in 1 year, and it was too much. It was hard to handle and keep up with. So at any rate, there's unlimited work out there. Nobody can handle it all. So it's just a matter of doing it right, getting your target customer, not just every job you can get, because then you're just, running in circles and such. But so that was a big milestone too. What we were talking about earlier is seeing what happened from Hurricane Ian, just devastating, and billions and billions of dollars being poured into reconstruction, remodeling, and new construction. Yeah. It's just I don't see an end to it anytime soon. Yeah.
A couple really good points you made. One is this constant drive to scout opportunity and then think about and work with the team to kind of collaborate on how we can be best service. And I think you guys are like a tag team. Batman and Robin. It's like, let's get it. Let's get it. How are we going to do it? How are we going to make
Robin, it? I like that.
How are we going to rock this in such a way that people are going to feel the Crystal Clean impact, culture, difference? And I would love to talk through this idea, Jeff. One thing that I've always thought about is the very first interaction somebody has with a company. I think about this even through a restaurant. When you walk in and that first host or hostess is incredibly caring, compassionate, and so forth, it gives you a frame for how this works. So when people call in and you get on the call with them, it sounds like from their perspective, there's an urgency. There's a thing that you want to assure. I hear you. Let's take a look. Maybe you go out on site right away. I've heard you say within 24 hours, we're going to be, a couple of our video sessions like, hey, I got something that came up. I got to handle. I'm like, you got it. Because there's a drive to assure, even from that first call, the customer is completely taken care of. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jeff or Dave? Jeff, you want to start?
I will, because there is a kind of a typical thing that happens. And we'll start at the basics where they're looking for some type of commercial cleaning. And we get so many calls and leads that come in online just because they found us on Google. And thank you, Charlie. So they found us, okay, and I'm hearing more and more because of the work that you're doing. I went through the videos and I went through your website, and you have great Google reviews. If it's not that, it might be a referral. But we get so many leads in like that. So the first conversation is usually kind of working through the how did you find us, and oh, that's great, and it's very positive. Now, what's the problem? Let's talk about, you have a pain point. That's why you called us, and what is that, and how can we help? And so the typical process would be we have some type of location. If it's common area cleaning, if it's a post-construction clean, a large office building, let's take a look at it. And of course, in touring with the client, now you really have time to talk with them. And we try to develop a process of drawing out from them what it is that's causing them a problem, pain points, things that they've maybe tried and failed to get fixed. All these things resonate to go, okay, well, we have the opportunity now. And then when we talk about if they want to work with a company like Crystal Clean, we do talk about the core values. We do talk about our process and our people. Because while Dave and I are very engaged with many of our clients, the fact is When we're out of sight, out of mind, they love the cleaner. They love the lead tech. We rarely hear from so many of them because that's what we want to establish. And when people start to hear that and they're like, yeah, I've tried all the other, like, let's see what it's going to take. Let's put something together. Okay, we'll build a proposal. And of course, we're happy to come and present. We always offer to have them come visit us, which I think is unique. We're a cleaning company. I don't know what they would expect, but come visit us. You'll meet some people and you'll see what Dave has put together here. And that's almost always a lock on being able to secure a new client. So we have a process that is very typical for how it works start to finish on a good lead that turns into not just a good opportunity, but then a client. And of course, as you know, like I said, some people just aren't a good fit. In that process, sometimes you weed out the ones who, I'm just looking to get the lowest price that I can. And when they say, you know, I have 6 people coming in, I'm waiting on 5 more quotes or whatever it is. Because usually we're the first to call, and often the first to give a proposal because we try to make sure we get those things done quickly. We know it's important to the client, especially the right client. They see the proactive approach and they really like it. Yeah. The others that put us off and say, well, I'm waiting for the 5 other quotes, usually not a good fit.
Got it. Anything you want to add, Dave?
Yeah, I think we learned too, again, from mistakes is to pre-qualify the client. We don't want to work for everybody. There's a lot of them out there that are not a good fit. And we actually explain our core values, and if they think that's ridiculous or don't like that idea, they're probably not going to be a good fit. And that's because we're in the service business. We're selling an ongoing recurring service in most cases. If we were selling a product or a commodity, sure, it doesn't matter. You just want to sell as many as possible through the internet, nationwide, what have you. It's like that old Walmart joke. Well, we lose 50 cents per unit, but we're going to make it up in volume. Obviously, that doesn't work. You're losing more and more and more. So you have somewhat limited resources with your people and your organization, so you don't want to waste them on the wrong clients. And it's nothing against them. Some of them aren't super tight budgets, and they're not going to pay the amount to do the job right, and you don't want to get caught in that game because they're never happy. You're not able to deliver quality service. It's just a lose scenario. So yeah, learning to qualify prospects in advance has saved a lot of time and a lot of headaches later down the road.
I just want to really reiterate this, is that there is a great qualification process for those that may be listening to the podcast that are newer to business. Sometimes when we start, we may have to accept clients that aren't exactly a good fit to get us to a break even, so to speak. But beyond that, there becomes a tipping point where you can be very clear about a qualification process that aligns you with the right customers. And when we think about the right customer, and it's kind of what we'll work to end our beautiful, it will be a multi-part podcast, is we think about the values they carry, the resonance when we meet with them. Do they feel like they're a good fit for us? Do we feel like we're a good fit for them? So often, a lot of the people that I coach courageously, in your position, Jeff, where you go and meet with them, they'll ask, how do you feel? Are we a good fit for you? And if we are, why? Why us? And they sell themselves on you. And it's really powerful when you hear them talk, and it can be a tell as to whether, well, you're a little more expensive and you're not aligned with what our budget is. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Well, then in our mind, we know that may not be the right customer because we know the value we bring, not the commodity, so to speak, of the cleaning aspect of it. The part that I love, and I think it's so critical people hear this, is that there's a vision, a strategy, a plan, and a set of action steps that Crystal Clean creates. And it's not a singular creation on your end. When you're out assessing a job, you're co-creating that vision, that strategy, that plan. And I would imagine, Jeff and Dave, when you're out meeting with customers, that you're helping them see around corners they didn't know exist. We talked earlier about the workers' comp scene, the proper licenses and insurances, to help them understand that, if you work with a company that might be a mom and pop shop that hasn't been properly licensed, the liability is on you. Right. And you got to be careful about that, especially with workers' comp and issues along that line. So it's just really reassuring to understand that's part of the value-packed price point that you guys provide. Is there anything you want to expand on with this idea of vision, strategy, plan, and action steps? Dave?
Well, the vision, of course, has gotten adjusted over the last 30-some years. And I use that expression like a sailboat going into the wind. You can't go straight. You have to tack back and forth. But eventually, you're working your way there.
Yeah.
But to back up a little bit with when I was first starting here and realized, wow, I need to get out and work more. I'm not on vacation here, so I need to get motivated. There's no way to motivate you when you're an entrepreneur. You have to find motivation. You don't have a boss to push you. You have to push yourself. Well, I was reading the newspaper. This is this thing we had back then in the 80s. You'd open it up and read it. And I saw an ad for Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy were coming to Fort Myers. I never heard of them, but I knew they were motivational and sales speakers. So I went downtown, saw that. And since then, I've probably read everything Zig Ziglar's written, watched all his videos and this and that. But one thing he mentions in almost every book and video and talk is this expression he uses: you can get everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want first. And it's just like, wow, that makes so much sense. So when we go out and talk to prospective customers, it's, how can we help you? What can we do for you? Like you say, are we a good fit? And they can tell pretty quickly, they can tell if you're genuine or not. But it's almost, I'm not the most altruistic person. I'm not saying that. But if you can take that attitude that I'm going to help people, you do. You get everything you want, basically. But you have to do that first, and you have to help them. So when we go and talk to prospects, we will give them suggestions and help, whether they hire us or not. Maybe you should consider this or do that. You don't need 5-day-a-week cleaning here. This could be done in 3 days a week. Oh, really? Wow. Here's what I suggest. And they may still not hire us, but it doesn't matter. They appreciate that you weren't there just to make a buck. You want to actually solve a problem. One thing our coaches would always tell us is you have to be the solution provider. They have problems, like Jeff said, they have pain points. You need to find out what those are and solve them for them, because they don't know the cleaning business. They don't know if they're paying too much, too little. They don't know why it's important. But that aspect is critical in all areas of life, not just business. If you can adopt that attitude that I want to help enough people, then I get what I want. It's kind of like your mom telling you, you can go out and play, but you got to do your homework first.
Yeah.
I think you got to do the work first, and it pays off. Yeah.
Well, I want to celebrate in the life of Zig.
Yeah,
and
great guy. And I know
Brian
a lot
Tracy
of young
and so
people
many
never
mentors.
heard of him, but
just get on YouTube, search for Zig, and watch him do his work.
That accent of him, I could listen to that all day. Missouri, I think, is from southern. Yeah. Yazoo City, Missouri.
Yeah, so good. Jeff, was there anything you wanted to add as we talk through this? Anything come up?
Maybe that's part of why Dave and I get along so well. I saw Zig in a similar time frame up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, when he came through, and I was just getting into business. And it did set a model in my mind, the type of thinking that goes along with succeeding. It's really about helping others. And once you get a flow, everybody that knows Zig remembers his pump as well. And I came into it, Dave already had a pump working, so I didn't have to start from scratch, but we're keeping it going and we're keeping the flow with all the things we talked about in mind, and back to the core values. You can never get away from having good people. Yeah. And Dave has built really good key people around him, both in the office to orchestrate, but at the cleaner level and that education, training, lead tech, operational roles that we have. Dave's done a nice job of surrounding himself with good people. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other good people.
Well, I've known that since I've met him, and I think it was in 2010 or 11 or 12, somewhere in there. And there was just a resonance between Dave and I. It was like, wow, this is amazing. Because you're on the hunt, especially if I think about it through the observer mind, that you have an idea of that ideal person you'd want to work with or the company you want to represent, and that they're doing good things for the world, really helping improve the quality of either people's lives or business or something like that. And there's always been that connection for me. So it's an absolute honor being in this podcast, doing this work,